Welcome to JustWannaQuilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. This is Elizabeth Townsend Guard. I'm a law professor at Tulane University Law School, and I just wanna quilt. So today we talked to Ellen Ault. She is all things quilting. She wins awards. She enters stuff. She plays. She works at a quilt shop doing social media. We talk about all kinds of things, and I think this is the first of many conversations.
I'm Ellen Ault, and I'm calling from Tampa, Florida.
Awesome. And tell me your first memory of someone sewing or quilting in your life.
That would be my mother, who was my Girl Scout leader, and we did a lot of, hands-on crafts and kind of cross-stitch and sewing and embroidery. And then after Girl Scouts, she just kind of kept on doing it and doing it and doing it. And her joke was she started quilting when I went off to college.
Yeah.
And so I'd come home and she'd take me to these quilt shops, and I didn't understand it for a really long time, and then I all of a sudden said, oh, I love this now. It's her fault that I'm doing it.
It's her fault. Most things are. Moms are, you either are doing it because of your mom or in spite of your mom, I think.
Right? Yeah. My mom's awesome. So
that's very cool. I love what's on your design board. I got distracted. Tell me what's up on your design board.
Here, can I angle?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's really pretty.
It's a quilt I'm making for my guild this year chose a women's domestic shelter.
Uh-huh.
For kind of giving back. So it's a quilt. It's going to be a twin that I'm making for our local domestic shelter. And it only needs a border, and then it'll be done. It won't be quilted for a while, but top will be done. It's
really cool. And where did you get, so I can't describe it because we're audio only.
We're audio, right? Okay. It's on point.
Yeah.
They're big blocks. They're 16-inch blocks, so the quilts go together really, really fast.
Uh-huh.
It's not the block our guild was using, because when I was making it, I screwed up and I sewed it wrong. Mm-hmm. So it's a completely new block, which I really like.
It's really cool.
So it's like...
How did you make that block? It's like a square. It's a block on point, and it's got how did you make it? Is it your own pattern?
Yeah, I'm going to make it one because I really like how it turns.
I really like it too. You have to keep me as posted.
Yeah, so it's got half square triangles and then half square rectangles.
It's got half square triangles. Yeah, it's great. It's just half square triangles. Yeah, but it's not, it doesn't look like that when you see it. I mean, you'll have to send me a picture of it or let us know when you've made a pattern of it, because it's really, I want to make it. That's my whole thing now, because I see a lot of quilts. It's like when I'm like, I want to make that one. Like,
yes. Yeah, I know. It's so fun. It's addictive.
Yeah, it's really different. And it looks like it's not terribly hard, but really pretty.
It's really fast.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, this is terrible audio. This is terrible podcasting because nobody can see it. But it's really cool. Okay, so... I thought I have a whole bunch of things to talk to you about your Cherry Wood Cafe work, fabric challenges. We've won a ton of awards and done tons of publications. You do social media for Quilt Shop. I have some personal questions I need to ask you about the Dream Big Pastel. I have one of those. I'm freaking out about it. I never do it. It's like one in my pile of nervous.
Oh.
But I want to start with this is so interesting. You, one of the things you've done in your life or do in your life is that you're a computer animation instructor, and I'm really and that you, am I right? It was at an art institute, and did you go to art institutes for your?
Yes.
So
I earned a bachelor's from the headquarters school, the Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
That's very cool.
Graduated 2004 with a degree in animation, and then I moved to Florida and got a master's in animation, and then I ended up teaching at the Art Institute of Tampa for I think it was 10 years when I left.
Wow. Okay, so tell us sort of what is art school? Let's start with that, because we do have a number of people that have been to art school And I'm really curious, and I have a kid that's really interested in art school, so it's a little selfish on my part too. But sort of what does art school make you into, I guess is the question. Because you've been a number of them. So, right, and you've taught at them, and you've been at them. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, art school, you have to kind of think of really, I think in the general term, people think art school, they think like painting and history. That's not the kind of schools I taught at. I taught at art technical colleges where we were making sure our students could get a job when they were done. We obviously had like art history classes, but everything was really hands-on, and you're going to learn a bunch of different skills. So with mine being computer animation.
Yeah. Where did they go? Where were your students getting, like, what was the goal of getting jobs for them?
Right. That's what's really great with what ours is. We taught them a whole bunch of different skill sets, so they could kind of choose a track of, did they want to stick with digital 2D, like drawing animation?
Yeah.
Did they want to do pure 3D animation? Did they want to do actual modeling? Did they want to do more technical aspects of rigging? Did they want to do storyboards? So our degree gave them a little introduction to everything, and then they can kind of choose, so their final portfolio year, they could choose what degree they wanted to go into. And the ones that really focused and did really excellent work, they weren't here to just have fun, they actually did work.
Yeah.
We had a student get accepted to the Nickelodeon artist program. We had some students move out to California. We've got some in Texas. It was really, really well done.
That's really interesting. That's so interesting.
We've got some that are at well-named locations, and then a lot that are local that can do it for, smaller companies doing freelance.
Yeah.
Decided to be teachers as well, and it's cool. So.
In like K through 12.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. And so many, like, you think about how many places animation is in our world, that it isn't like it is all over the place. And even just like companies wanting little things for their, website, and like there's just a lot going on.
So many different options. It's not, a lot of people just think, oh, it's the movies, and no, there's so much more.
Yeah.
And honestly, you have a better chance of getting a job not in the movies than for doing all those little website work and just small advertisements, small commercials, things like that.
So interesting. Well, that's very cool. And then how does being trained and teaching at an art school impact on how you quilt?
Well, it's the reason I started quilting because I was working and teaching on the computer all day long, and I wanted something to do with my hands when I got home and get away from the computer. I needed tactile back from it. So I
get that. I totally get that. I have to say I hadn't really thought about that. My other job is so computer heavy that it is nice. It's like your brain... It uses a different part of your brain, I think.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's absolutely that. So that was where I kind of came up with my name, my little business name of Handmade 3D, was I was in 3D, I was working 3D, I was teaching 3D, but I needed to bring back the handmade actual aspect of it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I learned color theory, I learned design and everything from it. So that had a real big influence on kind of color choices.
Yeah.
Unknowingly, it was easy for me, and people would say, how'd you pick those colors? It's like, I just did. I guess it's in my, knowledge base.
Right. And the quilt that's behind you, it's just like so pretty. Like the color choices and sort of what you did.
Collection. Yeah. I can't take complete credit for these colors because this was a whole complete fat quarter box collection that I fell in love with years and years ago. And finally decided to use it.
It's very cool. It's really pretty. I love collections too. I think, some people are like anti-collection, but I feel like the artist has taken a really long time to make something, and like it's cool to sort of see, what they do.
They work together for a reason, so we can use them.
Exactly. Okay. So, strategies. So the Dream Big pastel. So what these are, is it from Hoffman? Whose design is it? They're like big, right? They're like square and big, and you made one of them, right?
Okay, I made the 44-inch one.
The 44-inch one, which is still big. Like, now they have gargantuan ones, right? Now they have really big ones, right? But this was big enough.
Ones, which are 108.
Yeah, that's insane.
I did 44. I have 2 more just waiting for time to actually quilt them. But yeah, it's the first time I looked at a quilt panel and actually saw it as a art object where, you're showing the quilting.
Right. So for people that don't know it, you can look at, I think you probably could Google Dream Big Hoffman. They're like big flower, one big flower, would you say?
One big flower, yeah. I think they have almost 10 different colorways now.
It's so insane. Yeah. You can even get them on Amazon and at Fat Quarter Shop. They're all over the place. Everywhere. Everywhere has it. It is not hard to find.
It is now the quilting thing, yes.
And they're really pretty reasonable, actually. They're like, I see them for like $12 to $20, which is fairly good.
Digital panels, so they're going to be a little bit more than a standard panel because they're digitally printed. But,
and they're big.
Yeah, so it's
I mean, I know. Okay, so first of all, let me ask you about this panel because I have one, as I said. I've had it for a year. I take it out, I put it back. I take it out, I put it back. So did you put a border on it, or are you just are you doing anything to the panel? Or you're just making the panel?
I just did the panel straight. I didn't.
And what are you going to do with it once it's done?
Well, it is done.
Sorry. So
I hung it on the wall.
It's hanging on the wall. So you just put it, it's a wall hanging for you. Or you can give it to somebody as a wall hanging. Because 44 by 44 is really large, just good size, but not super great. It seems to be need to be a little bigger if you wanted to make it as a lap quilt or something like that.
Yeah, you'd have to add to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
And then
so
what was your
patterns that are doing that? But no, I didn't want to cut it. It's just so pretty.
Oh, right. There's some people that are using it and they're cutting it and making it there's a whole thing now, right? Of cutting it up.
Other people are being brave and cutting them. Yeah.
I know. Really interesting, right? So so interesting. It's funny. I just I interviewed Joe Cunningham. Do you know Joe Cunningham? He's he's an art guy. He quilts and he's an art guy, but he took canvases and he cut them and then sewed them together because he got really mad that artists were taking quilts and cutting them up and putting them into their art. So he took canvases and cut them and made it. But it makes me want to be like, hey, can you what would you weird, interesting art guy do with these panels? Because I bet he would cut them up in really weird ways and make them all you wouldn't probably even be able to recognize them. Okay.
No, yeah, they're great.
They are great. They're really beautiful. And I don't work for Hoffman, so I'm not.
I don't either.
I don't either. So I just want to say that out there. We didn't get a free one. We're just weirdly obsessed with these. Okay, so strategy. So they're big flower, and what people do is they quilt. Sometimes they quilt almost like a sampler, they're doing different ones on different petals. So what did you do? What was your strategy? Because I'm really curious of what your thoughts were when you looked at this thing.
I've seen people do the sampler, and I personally don't like the sampler.
Yeah, it's okay. I feel I want it to be more of a flower.
Right. It shows you've got a great talent and skill for what you can quilt, but I just don't think they go together.
Yeah.
I wanted to show off feathers for the first one that I did.
Yeah.
And then I really wanted the trapunto puff happening with it.
Yeah.
Which I never really focused so much on just that before. I'm not a traditional quilter. I'm not a modern quilter. I'm somewhere in between, but I'd never done just pure feather work. And that's really what I wanted to do with the first one.
So interesting. And so did you do it on a long arm or on a domestic machine?
I did it on a long arm.
And so so that was the other word I had. How did you start? Did you roll it so that you started in the middle and kept rolling it back and forth and moved out? Or did you start at the top?
No, I actually started at the top and I kind of ditched every petal first and went down and ditched all of the petals. And then I went back and started from the center and did the flowers and worked outward.
That's really interesting. Okay, I could do that.
Yeah. If you base, it was the idea of kind of basting it. If I started straight at the top and down, I might get, kind of unevenness or something.
Right. So you outlined the petals, did the whole thing outlined, then went back up, and then started filling them in. Right. That's really great. All right. So maybe there's others out there that are worried about about. And we have a new one. Oh my gosh, we have. Do you know Carly? Do you know Honest Fabric? Where did I put it?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
She's amazing, right? She's coming. She came, chatted with us, then she sent us something. But look at this. You should be totally doing one of these. She sent us one of these, which is one of her.
Oh, is that her Huntress?
Yeah. No, this is her. Is it Disparity?
Oh, they're so gorgeous.
Right? So this is like, I think that you have to practice on the first one, the Hoffman one, get that down. But this is, again, the same sort of thing. It's this huge panel that you put a backing on and you quilt it.
I know. I was so excited when I saw all the panels they're now releasing.
They're so amazing, right?
Yeah, it's for the people that don't want to quilt, don't actually want to make the top and spend all the piecing time. They just love quilting.
I know. It's so cool. It's so cool. I mean, it's really great. So anyway, so that came. That's really cool. So, okay, we see we're not even getting to stuff that we're not even near close to reasonable. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me get back to you. Okay, so you also do social media for quilt shops. Tell me sort of how that happened and I find the social media side of this exhausting because there's so many and I don't even have a shop, right? I'm just like interviewing people. But it's just a lot. Do you feel like yeah, so what kind of strategies do you suggest and why do people call you? Why are you a social media guru? What is that about?
Okay, so I've been with my my one shop for just under 3 years now. And when I started with them, I was just a quilt teacher. And they had just moved to a brand new location, and I wanted to post my class on their Facebook page that I had finished my sample, and I wanted to share it and, get people excited to sign up for my class because I was kind of new to their shop, so people didn't really know me yet.
Yeah.
And based on their settings, I couldn't share anything to their page. I couldn't post from, just me.
Yeah.
So I started talking to them about it, people should be able to share what they bought from you. They should be able to share what they've made from what they bought from you and things like that.
Right.
So it kind of turned into a conversation of, would you do that for us?
Right. Be careful what you...
Yeah.
Right. You're like, oh, okay.
Right. So I started doing their product photography and come in once a week and photograph whatever they just had new. And then I posted on their Facebook. After a couple months, it was like, oh, Ellen, can you make our newsletters? Because you've already got all the photos. Sure, I can do that. And then I started doing all their email marketing. And then after 6 months, it was like, can you come more? Then sure, why not? And at that point, I was looking for something to leave my my school because I was loving quilting and fabric and so much.
Yeah.
So I just kind of transitioned straight into the office side of the store, and I've been doing all of the social media marketing. I do all of our print advertisements for
cool.
field shows and things.
That's a lot. Well, I really think that we should spend another hour talking about that stuff because I think that there's a lot of stuff out there that we talk to people about this a lot, and I would love to sort of from an insider view sort of ask the kind of questions we've been asking because we've been talking to lots of different people, as you know. I would love to chat more about sort of your thoughts about that stuff, where we are. You don't have to give away your secrets, but sort of thinking through more of the kind of what is all of this would be super great. So
yeah, it's important. I love to do it. It's fun. It keeps me on the computer, and yet I'm still completely involved with the quilting.
Yeah, that's nice.
I still get to play with fabric every day. It's
that's cool. All right, so we already we need to sign up again for that. So yes. I know everybody's going to want to hear that. So when you get a chance, sign up again, and we'll just do a focused on that. So this now it just is like an intro to Ellen is what this has become. All right, so then also tell me about the Free Spirit Block Party Schoolhouse. Tell me what that is.
So since I work at a quilt shop, right, I have access to industry-specific emails from what new releases are coming from different fabric companies and things. Can you hear my daughter?
No, it's okay. No? It's good. Yeah. We have a lot of background noise. Mine is in the background, too. It's all good. I can't hear it actually from here. It might get picked up on the mic, but it's all good.
All right. So anyway, I get all these emails, and I get to see new products that are coming. I get to see what the store is ordering, things like that. And I saw through Free Spirit, one of their campaigns, that they were releasing this new book.
Right.
And their kind of initial plan for it and how they wanted shops to use it. And I was looking at this book, and it has all of the Free Spirit designers all made a quilt block. And then inside this book, they then, some made, more than one and things like that. And then they used their, obviously, Free Spirit fabrics and called it Block Party. And then they've got a couple sampler quilts from all these different blocks. And I was looking at this and the idea that a lot of quilters that I, follow and friends with on Instagram, they don't necessarily have a local shop that would do the block party, what they kind of want as a, class or a, monthly sew-in or something. And a couple years ago, I was part of an online kind of block swap. And I thought this was just a new perfect example of a perfect book that has all these great blocks in it to get together and make blocks for each other and swap with it. And then when I actually started looking at the book and I ordered myself a copy, the co-author is actually the original author of the book that I was part of 4 years ago.
Really?
So the relationship was even there. It was like, I wonder if they even had that kind of thought in mind.
Yeah.
That all went to this book and all from it. So I just had this idea. I was looking at it literally in my car line, waiting to pick up my daughter, and just thought, this is a perfect new example of getting different quilters together to make quilt blocks. They all send them off to each other, and based on like the size of your group is how long your different kind of group could be together. I kind of formatted it so there'd be 12 quilters in a group.
Yeah.
And each month someone is the little queen bee and they pick a block, and then all the members of the group make that block for them. They use their own fabrics. Whoever is the blocks for, they can pick like a color scheme, but everyone makes it and then ships it off to them at the end of the month. And then the next month is the next person's turn, and everybody makes a block from the book and sends it off to them. So after, a course of a year, 12 quilters now have 12 blocks to turn into a quilt.
That's really cool. And they're all the same block, but they've been made from different people.
Right. So, you'd pick, I want the block on page 40 or whatever, and these colors, and everyone would make it and send it to that person. Then the next month, that person chooses a block.
That's really interesting.
Their colorway and sort
Love
of
it.
Things.
So then how did you get to Schoolhouse? So that's so interesting.
Yeah. So that was a surprise. So I contacted the woman that co-wrote the book. I knew the woman from Free Spirit from my store, from working with her for a couple of store promotions. So I emailed her what my idea was and what I wanted to do with this and emailed the other co-author and things from it and said, it's not that I don't necessarily want you to enroll this, but I want to do this. I want to make sure you're okay with me taking your book and kind of turning it into this online bee. And they loved the idea. They thought it was great. They wanted me to run forward with it. And then getting to Schoolhouse, I had this idea of how I could kind of help the book get pushed further. That part of the thing that's great with the Free Spirit Block Party book is Free Spirit Fabrics is donating portions of their earnings to a charity, which is called Project Night Night. And I thought that's, already another great thing that this book is doing, that everyone that purchases it is being donated. And I thought, why can't I do another way to make another donation? So my second idea was, if I got a second copy of the book and I went to Quilt Market and had the Free Spirit designers sign it and auction off the book that has all these great signatures in it, and then give that money to Project Night Night. So I emailed that off to the woman I was working with at Free Spirit, and she loved that idea as well. Yeah. And so I was already planning to go to Quilt Market, so now I had like a real purpose and all to do there.
Right.
And I think I got 7 signatures that were 7 designers there.
That's great.
And then she invited me to the schoolhouse to see the schoolhouse. And then right when I got there, she asked me, "Oh, will you speak during it?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure. Why not?"
Right.
So that was a real surprise. And then, let's see, it was CT Publishing was actually in the schoolhouse recording it for their Facebook. So that was really fun because then I could save it and send it off to all the people in the B and say, "Hey, look, we're all online." And it made a whole new group of people sign up for it. And it was fun. It was really, really fun. I'd been to schoolhouses, but I'd never spoken at one.
That's really cool. I love it. So what about I've seen it, but I haven't seen inside of it. The Free Spirit Block Party, like what is it? Because there's lots of different books out there to like create stuff. So what is it about this book that you like that sort of, what is it?
Well, I already love Free Spirit fabric.
Yeah, I do too.
Like with Kate Bassett and, Tula Pink. I mean, it was one of those things that I didn't realize how many of my favorite fabric designers were all under Free Spirit fabric. They're all under one. I'm just reading through these names. It's like, oh, I love them. Oh, I love them.
Right.
So the book is great because it's not like defined quilts. Here's one block, repeat it 12 times. And here's one block, repeat it 12 times. So it's a fun kind of sampler in the fact that there are a whole bunch of different blocks. There's 40 in the book.
Amazing.
And then there are a bunch of different techniques. So there's piecing, there's foundation paper piecing, there's applique in it, there's English paper piecing in it.
It's really cool.
So every designer chose their style and then goes off their fabric.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple actual, quilts you can make from it. But it's really pick and choose and really design your own from these blocks, which I really liked.
Very cool. Very cool. We'll have to take a Free Spirit. Jaftex has been really a huge supporter of our project, so I'll have to chat with them. It would be really fun to sort of take a look and see what we could do, especially we're starting these new projects with our Facebook group where we're sewing. So there's like a lot of adventure and sewing happening.
Yeah. So with the bee, I kind of just started this idea. I contacted some of the designers and they helped share it and get the word out. And I have different hives working, which means I have 72 quilters all making blocks.
That's so cool. That's amazing.
Next year.
That's really great.
In October. So it's going October to like next September.
And is it mostly local? Are they buying or is it all over the country or sort of how does...
It's all over the world, actually. I've got 2 international hives. So I wrote it down because I knew you'd ask me.
Yeah.
So the majority are from the United States, but I've got quilters in Canada, France, Denmark, and Australia.
So with the international ones, how does shipping work exactly? Are you...
Yeah, so with when I had my original sign-up form, I had like a checkbox, will you ship international or not, giving everyone the ability to choose. So that way there are 2 hives that chose the international, so I could kind of put all those people together so they know a couple months out of the year they're going to mail to Canada or 1 month they mail to Australia.
Got it.
I believe one hive actually had all of the U.S. members mail it to one person.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that might be the reasonable logistics. Yeah, that's cool.
I think it just, every hive did something different.
Awesome. And then they'll get all their blocks so as it goes, then I imagine there's a lot of social media activity on this.
Yes. So I have like one kind of main hashtag that everyone posts under, and then a lot of the hives kind of split and created their own little groups. Some made their own Instagrams, some made their own Facebook groups.
Really interesting.
Awesome. You can all share with each other.
And then is this all under Happy Apple Quilts? Is that sort of where it starts?
No. So with the block party, that one was just through me.
So that's through the Handmade 3D.
Handmade 3D, yeah. And all, I'm with it because I wanted to open it up internationally.
Got it.
And get, people and quilters from everywhere. That if you had a local shop that sold the book, obviously go support them because that's kind of my main role is having quilters support their local shops, local designers. Nothing against online shopping, because I do it, but your brick and mortars need support.
Right.
A lot of help.
Right. So we've had these conversations about like vote with your dollars is what I keep saying. Like what you care about, spend your money there. So if you really care about online shops, go for it. Like if you really care about your local shop, or diversify. But like your money, it tells the industry what you care about.
Yes, yeah. So, absolutely. And part of the idea for my online bee is, okay, I know there are quilters that don't have a local shop.
Yeah.
Or if they have one, it's not the fabric they like.
Yeah.
It's not their style. So that's why I really wanted this all online. And started it mainly with Instagram, and then again, some jumped to Facebook and kind of back and forth. I made a newsletter. So at the end of every month, I kind of make a little grouping of some of the blocks and
that's
kind
really
of
cool. I love it. That's really cool. I love it. That's really great. Well, let's chat more about that again when we talk about social media strategies, because I think that's really interesting. I know there's a lot of conversations about like what you should put in your newsletter, how often, all this kind of like all that technical stuff. I would love to chat more with you about that. Okay, let's keep going on the overview of Ellen. You did the Cherrywood Challenge, and you did the Van Gogh one, right? And one of your piece got into the exhibit.
Yes, yeah, so, I've done. Let's see, that was the 4th year, because their first year was Wicked, and I did the Wicked Challenge.
So before we continue on, explain what the Cherrywood Challenges are in case people don't know what that is.
All right, so Cherrywood Challenges is cherrywood fabric, which is incredible hand-dyed fabric.
Very rich and
such great color. Their colors are
it's like wonderful. A color palette they're perfect for artists, right? They're perfect for everybody, but they're like...
Yeah, the fabric's beautiful.
Yeah.
The fabric's really beautiful. And so their challenge that they started 4 years ago was they'd pick a theme, and you'd have to make a quilt that's 20 inches by 20 inches using a specific kind of colorway of fabric. They'd have little fabric packs.
Right. And so what they do, we've interviewed them. So the business model is you buy the pack of fabric. So when you go and you see the exhibit, like – all of them are using the sort of palette of fabric. Can you add in other fabric, or?
You have to use cherrywood.
You have to use all cherrywood, but you can add more in.
Like a couple more colors or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you did the first one, the Wicked one?
I did Wicked.
Oh, how cool.
Which was really fun and kind of a really neat intro. That was one of my first kind of challenge quilts, really doing things like that. I've done, it was Wicked. I didn't do the Lion King one because I screwed up my design and it was too late to fix it. It's headline, but I did Van Gogh, and Van Gogh got selected, and is actually not even home yet. It's still traveling.
It's so cool.
It traveled for a year. It went to Quilt Festival, and then I was in the group that actually went to Europe. So
that's so cool.
Received my quilt back yet. It's still traveling. And then I just did the Prince Challenge, but
you did.
I didn't get accepted in the Prince. I don't think they understood my design.
Really?
Or my little inspiration on him. I did his Tootsie Roll lollipop, and I don't think they got my meaning from it.
Okay. Sorry.
So I really loved it, and I did something new that I really wanted. I wanted to take something really small and blow it up.
Yeah.
To make 20 by 20 inch little quilt. So it was like from far away you could recognize what it is, and then you saw more details. I did the lollipop, and I don't know who the judges were, but I don't think they understood my connection.
Oh, that's funny. That's not cool, but that's funny. It's interesting. Yeah. So are you going to do what's the one they're doing this year? They're doing the painter
this year.
Yeah. So are you going to do that?
Yep, I bought the pack at Quilt Festival. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it's Bob Ross. How can you not do Bob Ross?
Right.
Such a great idea.
It's great. It's really great. All right. So how did you go about designing it? How long did it take to make the Cherrywood version? You've done a couple of them. So you've done a lot of them. How much time does it take to do these when you do them?
Well, they're nice because they're small, right?
Yeah.
They're only 20 inches, so that size is a really great size to work with because it's not a huge, daunting task.
Yeah.
It's really how detailed do you want it to be.
Right.
The one that I just did with prints was all applique, so it was actually quite fast because I drew it out to scale on paper first, so I know how it would look.
Yeah.
And kind of cut and fused a bunch of their fabrics to make the shape from in quilting. But versus the one I did for Van Gogh, I did a lot of really tiny strip piecing.
Interesting.
That one took a lot more time because of all my really, really dense piecing.
Yeah.
From it, so it can really
It just
vary.
varies. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, we haven't gotten through everything, and it's quarter till, of course. So let's do part 2 because I want to talk about. So one of the conversations we're having is about sort of your place in the world. So there's some people that are upset that like hobbyists are making patterns. Then I talk to other ones that are like, well, we want to be teaching, but we need to have a legitimate portfolio, which includes patterns or includes awards or includes like. So I'd love to talk because you've had publications and awards and you've been a brand ambassador and you get really involved in like the inside way in a really cool way. And so I think that people are trying to understand what this world is. And from my part, I really am trying to understand what this world is. So I think we have more conversations. I think we're just started. Like, I feel like we need more time together. Does that sound okay?
I'm good with more time. I'd love more time.
All right, cool. So sign up, and then when you sign up, try to sign up for 2 slots so that in case we go over, we don't have the situation where someone else is coming. That'll just give us a little breathing room so we can have as much conversation as we want. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yes, it does.
Cool. I'm so excited. All right, so my job, before I see you again, is I'm going to try to do my Dream Big pastel thing.
Yes, they're so much fun. You know, it's don't get scared by it. People see it and they get nervous, like, oh, I'm going to ruin it, but you can't. Yeah. So beautiful to do.
Oh, it's so cool. All right, you're awesome. Do you need to review this before we post it?
No, you go right ahead,
okay,
and then that way I can tell my bee that, hey, look, we're on a podcast.
Totally. I will let you know. We're doing all of them for the spring, so I'll let you know when it's. We're hopefully we'll know soon when everything's getting posted. It's totally insane, but so awesome. I'm so psyched to meet you, and I just can't wait to talk more. I feel like again we just did this like little intro, but I think that we have a lot more to talk about. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more here.
Good, absolutely, yeah. I'd love to share more.
Cool, awesome. All right, have a great day.
You too.
All right.
All your other interviews.
Yes, I know. Well, I think everyone's trying to get things in before the holidays and everyone goes away. So it's kind of jamming everything in. I was kind of surprised, right? So I thought, I always look at it like the night before or a couple days before. I was like, oh, there's like 4 or 5 of them today. So every once in a while people don't show up and I'm like pretty psyched about that. You know, when they forget their interview, I'm like, it's not bad, Like, don't ever feel bad if you forget, For those people out there that like, I forgot to come. I'm like, no, it's good. It's good. Like a little break. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm super psyched to chat with you, and I can't wait to chat more. I think we just have a lot more time to spend together. We have to do that.
I'm all for it.
All right, awesome. All right, take care.
Okay,
bye. So you've been listening to JustWannaQuilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. And I'm Elizabeth Townsend Gard. If you like this podcast, keep listening. Also, we have a Facebook group. Come join us. We talk about a lot of things. We also have an Instagram account. And of course, most importantly, I really hope you get a chance to quilt today.